Hey y'all, this is Ranger Jonah. Today I'm walking through Mason Mill Park, or rather hiking, through an area that I like to call the Woodland Cove. I call it that because it's a beautiful area of the park with beautiful old trees, lush undergrowth, and many unique plants. Plus, it's a good habitat for animals. But the Woodland Cove has a problem. Plants have been escaping our yards and taking over this area of the forest, growing in what we oftentimes call a monoculture, just one plant in a whole layer of the forest. In fact, if I look down below me right here, I can see a whole bunch of English ivy, a ground cover plant that people often plant in their yards, but when it escapes to the forest, it creates a whole monoculture layer of plants in one part of the forest. And here in the Woodland Cove, it is all over the place. Look at all the green around me. Many of the plants that you see have escaped from people's yards. But a group of dedicated volunteers has recently undertaken a project in an area of the Woodland Cove to release the forest floor from the monoculture of English ivy and allow other plants to have the opportunity to thrive. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Again, this is what the Woodland Cove has looked like. All of this green is one kind of plant. English ivy, an introduced plant that people use in their yards, but when it escapes into the forest, it takes over the forest. But when you remove that English ivy from the forest, as the volunteer group has done, as you can see, it opens up the forest floor and allows many species that have been hiding among that English ivy, barely surviving, to all of a sudden thrive. Let me show you a few. All right, so this shrub right here is Viburnum dentatum. It's just about to bloom. And viburnum is one of those native plants that will really take the place of the privet that was growing here. So the fact that this is growing in this area that used to be really disturbed by all these plants that have escaped from people's yards, now this one is thriving. And let me show you another over here. All right, so down on the forest floor, we have a beautiful nodding trillium. Catesby's is what it's called. Isn't that pretty? See if we can get under so you can get a good shot. Again, you may have never found that beautiful wildflower if it wasn't for the restoration of this forest that's been done. So what do you do with all of the plants that grow in a monoculture? All of these plants that have escaped from people's yards and entered the forest once you've removed them. Well, here's what you see right behind me. You make a brush pile. Eventually, the brush pile will decompose just as anything does on the forest floor. But for now, it becomes a habitat for animals. In fact, I even heard somebody call it a rabbitat. You see what I did there? So I invite you to come into the Woodland Cove area of Mason Mill Park. The easiest way to access it is on the Story Walk Trail from the Toco Hill Library. Walk down into the cove and see the work done by these dedicated volunteers. I am sure you will appreciate it. And you might find, just like I have, another special plant. This is strawberry bush. See what you'll find. This is Ranger Jonah with DeKalb County, signing off.